Hi guys, I'm here with two projects today. The topic is a sad one, but I wanted to share it with you folks because I made these with one of my very best friends in mind, and you know, these are very special to me because they're made for her. It's actually her funeral service tonight. She passed away from cancer, and her family asked me to make the card box and the matching sign-in book, and I wanted to share them not only because they're special to me, but because when I started working on these, I looked for some samples of card boxes for funerals and I really couldn't find any. So I wanted to share these in case people needed ideas. And you can certainly change the elements and use a design for a box for a different event, whether it's a wedding or a birthday. So let me get started and show you guys what I did. First of all, the pink, red, and the dogs were all by request from the family. Those were the three things. They wanted pink, red, and dogs. And then I wanted to let me start with a card box. So what it is it's a banker's box, which is a cardboard box that's really sturdy and it's meant to hold files. So what you want is a box with the lid so that you can take the lid off and take all the cards out. And then what I wanted was the family to be able to use the box to store my friends some of her items in. So another condition in trying to find a box was that I wanted it to be big because I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of people and I didn't want the box to get filled. And and even if it does, they can take the lid off and take some out and put in a bag or something. But anyway, I thought a bigger box would be best, and I happened to have this box. And what I did was I wrapped it in plain pink wrapping paper. And for the slot on the top, what you would do is I went on the inside and drew a rectangle. And then I cut it out with a box cutter. Then I wrapped it with the wrapping paper, and then I took the blade and went straight across and on the edges here. And then I folded the flaps inwards and taped them. Now you do have to be careful because it does tear a little bit as you're folding, so just be careful and be gentle. And let's see, let me show you the trim. So what I did was I went all the way around the cover. My daughter helped me, my oldest daughter, and I actually used score tape on the wide ribbon. And then we went with hot glue and this trim here. And then we put this trim, and then we layered this pearl trim on top of those two. So we have a total of three trims here. So I've got the ribbon, this one here, and then the pearls. And then the lettering was done with my Cricut. What I did was I used some Doodlebug paper, and you can see that there are hearts on the paper. And I welded a script font together. I welded the letters together in a script font, and I also did a shadow. The shadow is Basil Bling, so there's some shimmer to it, which I love. And so that's the wording, Forever in Our Hearts. And then the poodle is a digital stamp. I will put the link in the description. I got it from an Etsy shop, and my older daughter fussy cut the poodle out for me. And what I did was I just shaded in with some gray Copic markers. I think it was C3. And then I also colored in the bows and the collar and added glossy accents. And I have to say that glossy accents is one of my absolute favorite items to use to embellish a card. I love glossy accents and stickles. Those are probably my two favorite. I would say those two, and bling and ribbon are my go-to items. But glossy accents are awesome because they add dimension to your product, to your image. So they add dimension and shine. So just kind of dresses it up a little bit, and it's so easy to do, except the bottle always gets clogged, and I've tried so many different things but nothing works. So anyway, this is my little gripe there. And then let me show you this beautiful angel. She is a digital stamp from Simply Betty, and she actually issued this out to her fan group back after the Newtown tragedy, and it was so that her fans could create cards to send into the town. Now, when my friend's family asked me to make these projects, I immediately thought of this angel, and she is so beautiful and serene, and I love her long flowing back black hair. Well, of course, I colored her hair in black. You could do whatever color you want, but my girlfriend, when we met back in 7th grade, she had long black hair past her butt. So, you know, I immediately thought of this angel. I thought she would be perfect to use. And what I did was I first did the background with a cloud template. And it's actually something that I purchased, oh gosh, so long ago when I first started stamping. I want to say it has to be over 10 years, maybe even like 15 years ago. I had this template, and I actually didn't use it for a long time, but I've been using it a lot in recent, I would say the last 2 years or so. But what you would do is you would lay the template down, and I love using Tim Holtz tumbled glass for this. And then there's a sponge that comes with the template, and all you do is you sponge the ink over the cloud template. And if you're wondering how I did it without getting ink on the image, what you would do is you would actually have to print out a second angel and cut her out, whatever your image is, cut out a duplicate, and then you place it over the main one, and then that way you can sponge all over without inking your main image. Now, a great thing about digital stamps is that you can resize them. So if you can see, you know, the poodle, I made her, you know, just maybe about 2 inches tall, and the angel is a little over 6 inches tall. So that's the great thing about digital stamps, is you can resize them to fit your project, where with rubber stamps you're stuck with that one size. Anyway, let me show you the stickles here. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I love stickles. I love glossy accents, and I love stickles, and it, you know, it's just so easy because all you do is just squeeze out the stickles, and you let it dry, and you end up with all this pretty glitter and shimmer on your image. So that's that. And then I also have a little bit of shimmer here in her belt. I used a pen by Sakura. I forget what it was, but I will put the name of it in the description. And then I have a little poodle here next to, you know, she's supposed to represent my friend, of course. So she's got her little buddy with her up in heaven. So I know that she'd love that. And then I added some pearl trim after I matted the image with some red cardstock, and then I added this pearl trim. So trying to keep it, you know, to tie in with the pearls up here. So that's the box. And you know, I kind of went back and forth on whether or not I wanted to add some flowers in the corners, some paper flowers, but you know, it's gonna get handled a lot, I think. So I wasn't quite sure about that. I decided to just leave it alone. So, you know, that's my problem. Sometimes I make something and I keep going back to it and thinking like, oh, I should add more, and sometimes I just can't stop. And then I won't tell myself, oh, you know, I shouldn't have done that. I should have just left it alone. So anyway, so that's the box, and then here is the matching sign-in book. So you can see that we have the poodle again, and you know, we got the same colors that the family requested, pink, red, and white. I'm sorry, pink and red are the two colors they requested, along with the dog theme. And so here is the cover. This here is a die set. It's called, I think, Apothecary Labels from Stampin' Up. Sorry, I haven't had my coffee yet, so I'm not really thinking clearly. I spent so much time last night and the day before working on these projects, and because I really wanted them to look nice for my friend's service. So I'm kind of exhausted, but anyway, I made the covers out of chipboard, and I just so happened to have these two pieces. I had something that was shipped to me between these two chipboard pieces, and I thought, oh gosh, this is perfect. So actually, it was actually a little bit longer, and I trimmed it down. So I took some pink, I think this is also Doodlebug, and you know, I used score tape to adhere it to the chipboard, and on the inside I just used some plain pink cardstock, And if you can see here, I inked the edges with some Jenny Bolin ink. I want to say it's called soap powder. I could be wrong, but I'll put the name in the description. So I went ahead and I inked the edges, and I love doing that. Just kind of gives things a little more finished look, and it's just a personal preference. If you don't like inking your edges, you certainly don't have to. I just like to do it. So anyway, I adhered the cardstock, the pattern paper, inked the edges, and then I printed out another poodle and cut her out with the dies here. And this red mat here is the same paper that I use on the title. So it's the red with hearts. And then I added, I went along the edge and I hot glued this pearl trim, which is the same pearl trim that's on the box. And then I added this rosette trim. And then I used these stickers, and this is a Dear Lizzie alpha stickers by American Crafts. And then I just used my We Are Memory Keepers hole punch, and I believe it's I don't even remember what size, but it's the bigger size of the two. It's the one with the green handle. And then I just punched holes, and I let me actually show you the inside. The paper is it's slightly thicker than your regular printer paper. I wanted something in between printer paper and cardstock, and so I got this, I believe it's 24-pound weight paper from Office Max, and it was $10 for the ream. And there's a slightly, you can feel the difference if you compare this to regular printer paper. Sorry, I'm off camera here. So, and all I did was I did, name, street, city and state, and zip, and I printed it out on my home printer, and then I just cut out the papers. And there's 10 lines per sheet, and I did 50 pages, and then I punched holes. And it's great because, with this long size, there's plenty of room to write your name and address going all the way across. Sometimes with guest books, I find that I have to squeeze my information in, but I like the size of this one. So let me show you the thickness. So it's not too bad, and there's still room. I could have added more, but I thought 50 pages would be okay. And then lastly, I added I think I forgot to mention that I put some pearls here, and that's from Stampin' Up. And then of course I did the glossy accents, and then I added some ribbon from my stash. And so lots of pink and red. And I love doing this on mini albums. You just buy these rings from your office supply store, and you run them through, and then you add ribbon. It's very simple. I have a lot of ribbon in my stash, so it's a great way to use up some of your stash too. But then afterwards, you think like, oh gosh, I use all my pretty ribbon, now I need to get some more. But it's just an excuse to go buy more, right? So anyway, I like the way that it turned out, so that's that. So anyway, I hope the family likes it. And more importantly, as I was making this, I was asking myself, is this something that my friend would like, so, and I think that she would. So that's it. That's the box. There's a box, and there's a book. Thanks for watching, guys.